My favorite books growing up. I remember reading a lot of the Three Detectives books. Those were a lot of fun. They had those in my elementary school library. I also pretty early got into fantasy novels. I'd say by the time I was in like 5th grade, I had a really great teacher who just kind of encouraged us to be our own people and mature. And so I kind of went away from a lot of the young adult literature, and I was reading, a lot of Dean Koontz and Stephen King and Michael Crichton and things like that, just, normal adult novels by the time I was finishing elementary school. Another thing that I read a lot of, like middle school age, was Star Trek books. And I just got a sense as I was reading through those that some of them were well written, and some of them, however good the story was, it just wasn't good writing. And I couldn't quantify what made it good or not. I just got this sense that that's not quite as good. And then my junior year of high school, I started reading more classic literature, things like The Great Gatsby or the poetry of T.S. Eliot, Shakespeare, of course. And then it clicked for me, like, okay, there's something about the craft of writing that makes writing special. And so that's when I started to think about going into literature and English as a profession. The way that we interact with the world is through words. Whether we're reading them, hearing them, interpreting them, and that brings us new ideas and perspectives, or whether in responding to those ideas and perspectives, we want to make our voice heard. That can be in our career fields, that can be in our academic fields, that can just be in our life. The way we do that is through words. And sometimes we look at people in all fields of life and say, oh, they're so talented. Obviously, different people have different talents and attributes. But anything that can be done well can be taught to be done better. One thing that you see in literature is that it's never an easy answer. Good literature, and this is one of the things that separates it from some of those books that become a little bit rote and cookie cutter and boring, is that it's always open to more than one interpretation. It can't just be a fairy tale. Here's what happened and the moral of the story is. Good literature, great literature that reaches people of all ages and throughout time says, here are situations that people find themselves in, dilemmas that they have to think about, questions of existence and truth and right and wrong and relationships. And when we see those played out in literature, it gets us thinking about them in our lives in much deeper ways. So for people who are thinking of becoming an English major, either coming out of high school or changing their major in college, they're probably hearing some talk about how STEM fields is where there's going to be career growth, that there's going to be easier ways to get a degree, that this is going to be, as we were just discussing, you want to have that measurable outcome at the end of employment, and will English really get me there? And as much as pushback as there is on liberal arts education and things like this, and more of an emphasis on STEM, it's not gone away. And as much as people say it might go away, I don't think the human condition allows us to devalue to the point where it disappears the importance of literature, the works that have been written, the way those words speak to us, and the way those words can then be interpreted and brought out and expressed in the world in ways that remain meaningful, I think, forever.